Today is the day. We are going to try to get a first start out of the Eclipse. I have a decent amount to do, still have to do connectors, intercooler piping, everything underneath and all that, but I really want to get a first start out of the Eclipse. So I'm going to wrap up on all of that stuff, get fluids in, and really be trying to get this thing started. So we're going to do the first crank, everything. So let's just hop right in. I'm excited to get this thing going and hopefully driving down the street. So let's get to it. So here's that output speed sensor that I was talking about that needs replaced. There's some corrosion inside of there. So hopefully replacing this will help with getting that speedometer reading correctly all the time again. So I've got one of these coming. Hopefully it'll be here in the next day or two, and we'll get that new one put in and get it taken care of. A week later, finally got the speed sensor in. So I ended up ordering from Rock Auto. They sent me the wrong one. I think it was probably for an automatic transmission. They had the picture for the manual, but then sent me the wrong one. So ended up getting this one in here. Big shout out to Extreme PSI. They got it to me pretty quick. Going to slap this in there, put in the intercooler piping, the battery tray, the battery, and then we can go from there with fluids and everything and see about getting this thing started. So as you can see here, there's the rotating spindle on here, the clip that I got to take off to put on the new one here. So we'll get that switched over. So I've decided to do everything underneath the car here. No point in hauling it all down to the shop just to end up buttoning things up. I need to do the cross member brace, CV axles, upper control arms, get the negative terminal onto the alternator, as well as a ground that's on the back of the engine as well. Just those small things, putting transmission fluid in. So might as well do that while it's here. No point in hauling the car all the way down to the shop just to do that when I can do it here. So I'm going to lift it up, put it on jack stands, and continue on from there. Get all that buttoned up underneath, put fluids in, and then we'll be ready for that tune. So I put these bolts in here and go to the radiator support, and then I put the bolt through this last engine mount in the center here, and then there's two bolts back there, one going to the lower support for the suspension, and then the rear one is just an extra one that goes on the back there. So I got those on there. We'll get those tightened down, and then on to the next step. So what I need to do now is the upper control arms. These the ball joints were twisting inside of here when I took it all apart, so I do have new upper control arms. It's just the 1 bolt here to the knuckle, and then 2 bolts here, or 2 nuts here, and then we'll be able to pull that out and get the new ones in. And then while we have them off, we can end up putting the CV axles in the hubs, which I'll have to spray this out, but we'll put those in while we're switching it all over. Word of advice, don't put the cross member on until you've put that CV axle in. I ended up having to pull the cross member back off and then fish the CV axle through on the driver's side, and then I was able to get it in the transmission. Got the other end in this knuckle. I still have to do this upper control arm and tighten everything up after that. I did actually put the exhaust on while I was down there, so I could put that air-fuel ratio in. I haven't fully tightened that down yet, but figured while I was down there I'd do that. Didn't record due to the fact that that's been quite hectic being on the ground. So I am quite a mess right now from laying on the ground. I was using the creeper, but it ended up being too high, so I didn't have enough clearance and stuff. So I am going to tighten these back up. It's the same thing as the other side since I recorded that end. Pull out the upper control arm and then put in the new one, tighten everything down on this side, and I've yet to tighten down the CV axle nut on the passenger side, so I'll have to do that too. But just end up going through everything, tighten it all down, and then we'll be able to start adding fluids. So we're going to wrap up with all that and then continue forward. I've got everything buttoned up here. I have the exhaust fully tightened up. One of the bolts in the front is extremely hard to get to. It's near the wastegate dump, and that's a pain in the butt. But everything's tightened down except for the axle nuts. And then also, while I've got it in the air, I will fill the transmission with fluid. So this plug right here is the transmission fill. The transmission drain is that plug right down there. So I'll pull this out. I will use a pump that just goes on top of the bottle of my fluid to fill that up, and we'll get that taken care of. I'm not gonna record that as well because it's gonna be hard to get a good angle on that, but you just pull the plug, and then, like I said, I'll use just a little pump system that's got a tube on it that will allow me to just pump it straight from the quart jug to the transmission. So we'll fill that up, then we'll put it on the ground, put the tires on, and tighten up those axle nuts, which this one's not going on too well, so it's probably going to end up being the last time this one goes on here, and I'll probably have to end up replacing the CV axle next time I go to do this. But yep, so we'll end up dropping it to the ground with the tires on it after we fill the transmission and tightening things up. Then we'll be able to fill the engine with oil, the radiator with coolant, and then load up the tune and start her up. I ended up just picking up another pump from Napa. They're relatively cheap. It's just a Valvoline, like $5 pump. So I can just put it in the quart bottle of the transmission fluid and then pump it into that fill plug. So let's get that taken care of, and then we'll be looking at doing the coolant and probably unplug the crank sensor while cranking it, just get oil through it, and then at that point we'll be looking at when Willie will be available for me to be walked through getting that tune on there. So we'll get this in there, get that other tire on, put it on the ground, and move from there. So I ended up using up just over 2.5 quarts, almost more close to 3 quarts, but got the transmission all filled up, got the bolt tightened on there. Obviously be a little more prepared than I was with trying to get that on. I fumbled a little bit with getting that bolt on, but got transmission fluid in it, so we can throw this tire on, get it on the ground, put some coolant in it, and we'll be good to go. So now it's actually time to hook up the battery, see what works and what doesn't. I don't have a very good funnel for the coolant to fill that. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do that. Maybe I'll just use it to kind of use the one that I've got just to kind of make sure most of it gets in there and everything, and then just fill it until it's full. But yeah, we're going to hook up the battery, and then we'll see about doing a quick, we'll end up disconnecting the crankshaft sensor, and we'll turn it over for a little bit, get some oil pumping through it and everything, and then go from there as to if we want to wait on a different funnel to try filling the coolant or try with this. But let's get this battery connected and go from there. So we just blew a lot of fuel there. I was wondering what that noise was. And I don't know exactly where it was coming from in there. But it's pretty soaked. So we're gonna have to tear apart and figure out where it's coming from, and yeah, a little bit of a setback here. But we'll get it taken care of. So it looks like it came out of the first injector here, actually, right from the bottom there. We'll have to pull the rail out here just to be sure. So if you can see down there, it is in fact from that first injector on the bottom. Looks like the others were good, it's just that one. So we'll pull this injector out, wipe it down, clean it up a little bit. Man, that is quite a mess. may have found a different culprit here. Ended up just breaking it while I loosened it up, and then decided to tighten back up on the AN fitting, the fuel line, and it broke. So it could have been coming from that injector, or it could have been coming from here. So I wanted to cover every base, and I'm glad I did, because I wouldn't have wanted to keep having issues with that. So I think it was initially this fitting here. So we'll have to get a different one in here, or go with a different kind of line. I do like the AN fittings, but it is pushing up against the timing cover here quite a bit. So we will see about getting another fitting here. Kind of pushes us back a bit, but you know, I'd rather find out now than later. So after all of that with putting in the new AN fitting, still ran into a bit of an issue, which it's one you can actually hear in the video when I'm trying to start it with the fuel spraying out. Basically, the flywheel that I have in is incorrect. The starter's trying to engage, but it's not grabbing onto it. The flywheel that I was given was for an all-wheel drive. That was a 106 tooth instead of the front wheel drive is supposed to be 110 tooth. So basically I have to go pull the transmission back out, replace the flywheel with the correct one, 110 tooth. I need to order one in. I'll probably just get a brand new ACT flywheel. But yeah, need to get that all squared away, and then hopefully by that point we can actually get it started. A little bit of a setback here, but you know, it's what it is. We'll get a new one in here and we'll hopefully get this thing started. So I won't be recording that just because you've seen me put the transmission on. This way I can get it done faster and hopefully get this thing started sooner. So I'll get that taken care of, and then we'll in the next video hopefully get this thing started. I'm really excited, getting pretty antsy on this. But yeah, I mean, it's just take it one step at a time, and then we'll get this thing going. So like if you like the video, comment, subscribe if you'd like to see this thing going. It's getting very close. It's to the very end of it. It's just, you know, the little things got to get taken care of. Make sure to cover every track. So we will see you guys in the next one when I have that new flywheel in. Hopefully we'll get this thing started.